Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Kickin It with BShea. I'm, of course, your host, BShea. Well, December is upon us. It is snowing outside currently. I've been cooped up all day. I figured there's nothing better to do right now than record another episode. Plus, I wanted to get another one out. It's been a little bit since my last episode, but that is for good reason. A little bit of a life update for me. Actually, as the time of recording this, which is December 2nd, yesterday was my first day at my first, real full-time job. I have been hired by the University of Massachusetts as a communications assistant, which to many of you probably sounds really boring. To me, it's not. It's a field I wanted to get into. It's what I've been trying to get into for a while, so I'm beyond blessed to get this opportunity. And I'm excited, but, getting accustomed to the new life a little bit. Episodes are going to be a little more sporadic. There's a pretty decent workload, which is the thing, but honestly, I'm so happy. It's exactly what I want to do with my life. I don't know. Just very excited that this opportunity has presented itself. So, little bit of delay in getting this episode out. I know. I'm sorry. Going forward, I'm going to try and figure something out, but that's just kind of where we are in the meantime. Anyway, that's enough about that for now. So, kind of going to get into this episode a little quickly, but it ties into that getting a new job. So, I currently live in Connecticut. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before on the podcast, but I'm a Connecticut kid. I've been born and raised in Connecticut. Went to school in Massachusetts. I went to Springfield College in Springfield, Mass. While I was there, interned at the University of Massachusetts, which is in Amherst, Mass. But now that I've graduated, I'm back living at home. As you can tell, this is, for those watching visually, this is this is just my bedroom from my house. And so that means that my commute to Amherst is a full hour for me, which to some might sound like nothing. To others might sound like a lot. I don't mind it. It's a pretty easy ride for me. It's basically the highway the entire way. It's not a bad ride. I've made the ride plenty of times. It's a little bit further than it was for me from Springfield. Springfield's about almost the halfway point, not quite, but so where I'm going with this is with that long ride is now I have a lot of time, that full hour there, hour back to listen to music, think about things. And a couple days ago when I was going up there, I forget which song it was. Could have been Explosive, could have been Regulate, something with Nate Dogg as a chorus. And Nate Dogg is obviously one of, if not the greatest hook guy of all time. There's a reason that his nickname was the King of Hooks, which I'll get into it a little bit later. But as I was doing these trips and I started listening to it, I kind of started to realize Nate Dogg doesn't have much of a solo career, right? Anytime you think of a Nate Dogg song or anything that he's ever done, ever been in, it's probably been him singing the hook or being featured on another track. That was the case for myself. Even on my playlist, there's only a couple songs on there that are from Nate Dogg himself. I think there's only 3, to be quite honest, and even 1 or 2 of them is a collab. Again, I'll get into in a second, but so I don't know. It was kind of just picking at my brain, or I was kind of just picking around, trying to think at why this would be the case, right? Because Nate Dogg obviously has such an unbelievable voice. It's like I don't know, just one of the smoothest voices. It's uncanny. I don't think uncanny is the word I'm looking for, but it's there's nobody else you can really point to at least in old school hip hop that has the same kind of sound that Nate Dogg does. He comes on, immediately who it is. And it's just such a captivating. I think that's more of a word I'm looking for, is a very captivating sound. So I don't know. I kind of started trying to think about it, and also in that meantime, I get to listen to a lot of music. So a couple days ago, I put on. Well, even when if you try to find Nate Dogg's discography, there's not a whole lot there, right? There's only, I want to say he only has 2 or 3 albums. Um, he has the one I don't even know the name of it, but his debut album I think came out in '98. I want to say something like Lyricist Lounge, something like that along those lines. And I quite honestly I haven't listened to a whole lot of it. Maybe that's another one, but the one that's more popular, more famous, more what people would somewhat know is his 2001 album Music in Me. So I've listened to it a couple times now. The first time was just to see what it was like, and then the last couple times kind of just like as a, I don't want to say research because whatever, but more of just trying to understand more of the Nate Dogg like solo feel, kind of what this is. So on this album there is some what I think some really unbelievable work. Production wise, it is top to bottom. I want to say there's only 14 songs on it, one of which is a remix. Top to bottom though, unbelievably well produced. There's a laundry list of producers, so I feel like it might even be that each song is somebody different. I know Dre had his hand in one. I think Mel had his hand in one. Here and there, but it is really, really well done production wise. I would argue some of the best that's been done in that era. If we're just from late '90s, early 2000s, I would say it's up there. And it's probably something that a lot of people have never even heard, right? Because again, Nate Dogg solo career is just something that's almost unheard of, in a sense. So, right, there's a couple songs on there that I really enjoyed. The first track, "I Got Love," probably his most famous solo song, if you don't count, like "Get Up" was a single, came out in 2002. I thought that was a pretty, strong song. Obviously, Nobody Does It Better. My guess is between Nobody Does It Better and "I Got Love," or like his 1 and 2, might even be 1A, 1B. I enjoy both of them. I think they're both really good songs. And then as you go down the album, there's some other very strong contenders, right? Couple songs in, you got "I Pledge Allegiance" featuring Pharoah Monch, who I love, by the way. I think he's a great artist. He has some really, really good work. I'm a big fan. Couple songs later, you get "Your Wife" featuring Dr. Dre. Anything with Dre is going to be great. I'm just going to assume he produced that song. So it's a great beat, fun song. Couple more later, "Real Pimp" featuring Ludacris. Another one, Ludacris, absolutely awesome. They work together. Other senses, first song that comes to mind is "Area Codes" with on Ludacris's album. I can't even think of the name of it right now. It's slipping my mind. You know what album I'm talking about? That probably his most famous one. And then towards the end, you get "Diddy Dum Diddy Do" featuring Snoop and Eastside is somebody else is on. I didn't write it down because Snoop is the one. Again, Snoop and Nate Dogg have worked together before. Probably most notably on "Ain't No Fun" on Snoop's Doggy Style album. Again, Nate Dogg lays down that verse perfectly. So there's some heavy hitters in this. I think it's a good album, but commercially didn't do amazing. It only sold for 400,000 copies, which sounds like a lot, but in terms of what else G-Funk was doing in this era, isn't as much. So this is kind of what I've been kicking around the last couple, I'd say like couple weeks, maybe even. It's just like, what is it with Nate Dogg and his, I don't want to say inability to have a solo career, because that just, I don't think it was an inability thing. I think there's a couple factors. But the first one that kind of came to mind was like, to me, it's like this album came out in 2001. When you think of G-Funk, by 2001, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's definitely not anywhere near its peak, right? And if we kind of went back through the history of G-Funk, I have a couple notes here. So, it's considered being like, its breakout from from like to the mainstream, is pretty much considered with Dre's Chronic in 1992. Makes sense, right? Like that is I feel like if you think of the some G-Funk sounds, the first things that are going to come to your mind is probably the Chronic. That was one of the biggest ones. But people credit going back even further to still with Dre, and it's NWA's Dope Man and Gangsta Gangsta on that 87 Straight Outta Compton album. A lot of people give that the credit for the beginning, and then as you go from there, you kind of get other artists, I don't want to say jumping in, but, trying their hand at it. Eric B. and Rakim had the R in 1988, which I also found a little bit funny. That, like, to me, when I think of G-Funk, you think of West Coast. I think everybody does. Eric B. and Rakim obviously are not. They're Long Island, New York area. So them kind of throwing their hat in the ring was interesting. But, again, that's another song that I think is great. It's on that, I believe it's on the Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em album. Great album, right? It was a very sufficient follow-up to the Paid in Full album. But I could be having that backwards, that it's not. Right? It's the same album, Mahogany. I can't, top of my head, it's just not coming to me real quick. But, right, and then so another year later, we're in 1989 now, Dre back again, right? He produces DOC. I think it's the Formula album. If it's not, it's that album. It could even be the DOC, something like that. But that album, produced by Dre, again, another good example of really good G-Funk, but it's still before that Chronic. So before I'd say it really hit its peak. And then you get to that 1992 era where, at this point, G-Funk is huge. I would say it's dominating a lot of the radio waves, if it was allowed to be played in the radio. And it's I don't really know if I would call it like a novelty, right? Like I think it was more than just. I don't know where I'm trying to go with that, but I don't know. G-Funk was a thing, and it was big, right? And then it gets even bigger, I would say. 1994 is when it really hits its peak, and that is because of Warren G and Nate Dogg, right? I think that the poster child for G-Funk is Nate Dogg, along with Warren G. That song, Regulate. This DJ is also pretty good. DUC is also pretty good, but I would say, if I did just a random poll, right? If somebody else was to do a poll, like let's just say hypothetically, you're going to do a poll, and you're going to ask somebody what is the first song that comes to your mind when you think of the G-Funk genre? I would almost argue that 80-85% would be Regulate, because that is the most like stereotypical G-Funk sound song. And then in the years following, there was still more G-Funk happening. I think 94 was its peak, and then it kind of starts to fizzle out a little bit. But 1995, Tupac's group, Thug Life, they released that album. They have a couple fun songs on there. Cradle to the Grave, Stay True was also great. That's an album that my guess is not a lot of people know much of. That is a really good, underrated album. Eventually, at some point, I am going to do a segment on albums that I think that are, I don't even want to say underrated, but like that people just don't even really know of. A couple, like another one that comes to mind is The Minstrel Show by Little Brother. That is an unbelievable album. And then there's another one that I really want to get into, but I don't really. It's weird because I don't consider it old school rap. Well, nobody does. The album came out in 2018, but it's a song. It's an album that almost feels above, like way ahead of its time. If that makes sense, like it sounds like it should have been in the late 90s. I don't even know if it's really considered rap, but it's Reggie Snow's debut album, Dear Annie, which for a debut album, for an album in general, is to me unbelievable. Top to bottom, there's not a single miss. But the fact that it was a debut album is insane to me, which, you know, I'd like to do more of a deep dive on that, but that is just awesome. But that kind of gets us to that later 90s, early 2000s point where this is where, you know, the concept of G-Funk is there, but I don't know if it was like not diverse enough. I don't know if it was just times had changed, But like the mainstream popularity of G-Funk started dying out. Like even look at Dr. Dre. His 2001 or his album 2001 that came out in 1999 is nothing like The Chronic. I don't even know if you could really consider the 2001 album G-Funk. There probably has some tones to it, but it's more it just you know what I mean? It just progressed. It's like I think the genre itself just kind of just kept moving on, kind of just kept developing. And that's where I think a lot of the issues came in with this Music in Me album. And again, issues is something that this is a great album. Don't get me wrong. It is a very good album. But I think that a lot of its downfall was the time it was released, right? So it came out in 2001, which, as we have just established, is a little bit past this peak. I don't know if Nate Dogg releases this album in 1996, if it's going to do, way better, if it's going to be more mainstream. That's just that's one of those what if questions. There's no answer to it, but I think it could have done better. I don't think it would have done much better though, because the other thing that it kind of dawned on me as I was listening to this song, specifically if you go back and listen to some of those songs that don't have feature artists, if I go back up and just put down the songs that I thought were worth mentioning, the only one that doesn't have a feature artist in it is that I Got Love song. And I kind of started to figure out like the reason that Nate Dogg sounds so good with a feature is that he almost sings everything like it's a hook. I don't know if that quite makes sense, but if you I think this is a big, again, problem doesn't feel like the right word because Nate Dogg has such a unique and unbelievable voice, but it's his style, it's the way that he presents music doesn't really fit into a rap song. So I'm trying to figure out a way to put this in a way, again, Nate Dogg, unbelievable artist. I don't mean any disrespect to him, but he kind of just has I don't want to say it's a limited vocal range or it's a limited style of the way that he presents music, but he sang everything like it was a hook. So I think good examples of this is if you go back to those songs that there's no feature artists on. If we go back to Backdoor, which I think is it might even be the second track on the thing, it all kind of sounds the same, right? The whole thing just sounds like a hook. So the chorus sounds like, the chorus sounds great, but then you get the first verse and it just sounds like the chorus. And then you get to the chorus, then you get to the second verse and it just sounds like the chorus again. So for the first couple songs, it's not bad. But as you get going on in the album, right? Another Short Story than Concrete Streets play back to back. I want to say it's track 9, track 10. They're back to back. It's either 8, 9, 9, and 10, something like that. If you listen to them back to back, it just sounds like one really long chorus just going on and on and on, which isn't great for rap. That's what made those other featured songs so well, is that Nate Dogg gets to play to his element. He gets to be the chorus guy. He gets to take, it's not even much of a back seat, because even in, I want to say, all of those songs except for the one with Snoop, he has the first verse, which he should. It's his album. But he almost kind of loses you by the time you get to the second chorus, right? Because most of his songs start the same way, where it's you get the chorus, then the first verse, then the chorus, and then it would be the feature artist. And it works well, I think, of the Snoop song because he isn't the first one singing. There's also, might be the third album. It might even just be Gangsta, something like that, where he has other artists on, and it's the same thing where he isn't the first one off. So it kind of hooks you into the song. Whereas the other ones, I could see a lot of people skipping these pretty early because it's not, he's starting and it all kind of just sounds the same. So it kind of loses it, where if you keep listening, it's good, but I don't know, we're in an era today where, people watch something for 3 seconds. If they aren't interested, they go on to the next, which sucks, but it's the way it is. Not, but that's not how it was in 2001. People had to buy the CD, or I don't know what other form you would have bought it in. I guess yeah, CD. So it's Nate Dogg had perfected the sound of the hook, and he was unbelievable at that. And it's my thing is, I don't know if that is just his style of singing or if it just worked in everything else, so he kind of just tried to keep going, where it all just kind of sounds the same. There's no variation. Nate Dogg doesn't really rap. He kind of just like sings. So like, I think if Nate Dogg tried to be an R&B singer, he would have been huge. He is awesome in a hook, but if like, this album is not a rap album, if that makes any sense. It doesn't. It has the G-funk elements, but it's missing the like rap. It has the great vocals, great production. Even the feature artists are awesome on it. That's what makes this. I think this album decent. Like if this entire album was just Nate Dogg, it would be pretty tough to get through. Which is unfortunate to say, but it would be, because it gets very repetitive. But again, if he had gone on to a career in just singing, I think he would have been a lot better. But that's not the point of it, which kind of gets into the name of the album. Like, this is just Nate Dogg's like passion project in a sense, which definitely comes across in the music. He sounds great. You can tell he cares. It's just everything sounds very similar, and that's what kind of has been dawned on me the last couple days, last week and a half, is that it's just the reason that Nate Dogg didn't blow up like, in a solo career like the others. Look at Dre, look at Snoop, even Ice Cube, if you want to consider him part of the G-Funk with NWA. They were able to go on because they knew how to change a little bit. They knew how to progress. They knew how to, they had different styles, where Nate Dogg was kind of just stuck in this one little era. So that's why I don't really think, had he released it in 1996, 1995, would it have done better? Maybe. But, I don't really think so, because of just, the way it sounds. And even if I go down to, like, I put down a list of just some of the songs that I thought Nate Dogg was unbelievable in, but, people will know. So, obviously, Ain't No Fun, which I talked about a little bit earlier, which is Doggy Style by Snoop. Came out in 1993, which, again, is right near that peak. He was in All About You, Tupac's All About You, which came out in 1996. Regulate, Do You See, all those 1994, that's all in that peak era. But what made those songs so good is not just that Nate Dogg was on them. It was that he had the other elements around him. He had the rap with him, like the rappers with him and things. And then if I keep going down, there's another song, High Come Down, which has that awesome sample from Evelyn Champagne King, Love Come Down. I think that is pulled off perfectly in that song, but it's by Chico and Kuwata. High Come Down, Nate Dogg just takes that floor, raises it, right? He elevates the hell out of that song. Where I Want to Be by Shade Shiest, same thing. He just absolutely kills it on that. Oh No, Mos Def and Pharoah Monk. You surround him with other artists, he's going to shine. Area Codes, Ludacris, I mentioned that. The Streets by WC on that Ghetto Heisman album. Awesome. Which, by the way, Ghetto Heisman, awesome album cover. And something I should mention about this Music in Me album, awesome album cover. But those are, beside the point. Anyway, all those last 5 songs I just mentioned, 2001, 2002, 2002, 2001, 2002. So these all came out in the same time that Music in Me was released. And I think that these kind of songs are almost, I don't want to say better, but they had the opportunity to perform better because of, there's more variation. Like, go to that Ludacris album. There's so many songs on there. They don't sound the same. All right, Ludacris is able to change his style, but he can bring in Nate Dogg, and it sounds awesome. But it's not like the next song sounds the exact same. So I that's kind of what I was getting at the downfall of Nate Dogg, is that he just sounded, his style, he perfected it, but when you listen to it 14 times in a row, kind of gets a little worn. So I think that is the crux, right? I think it was a mix of things. Album came out a little later than it probably could have, and his style just wasn't a recipe for success, which is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just what I've been thinking about the last couple weeks. With Nate Dogg and that. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up that segment. So last episode I mentioned that I wanted to, it was something along the lines of I wanted to find something where I could play, a song and try and guess the songs and things like that, because I played that Rappers by Their Real Name game. And my guess is my phone was listening to me, because they probably all do that. But in my For You page on my Instagram, this game came up where I don't know if anyone's ever heard the game Bandle, but it's basically a Wordle with songs, where that one kind of gives you, you get a short time, and it gives you one aspect of an instrument, and you have to try and guess the song. That came up, and then a couple days later, I see there's another website called Songless Unlimited, which is a similar thing, but the thing with Bandle is it updates every day. You only get one song unless you pay for an account, which I'm not doing. Songless Unlimited, though, you can listen to, this over and over and over again, and it is kind of what I wanted to do. So, long-winded way of saying that I'm going to play this game, Songless Unlimited, and even better, there is a rap-specific section. So, I don't know. I thought this would be a lot of fun to play. I don't know how many rounds I'll play. I don't even know how good I'll do, but real quick, I'm going to put my mic in the stand. All right. Put my mic there. That should be pretty good. Okay. So now I got to record my screen. Do I want to do my entire screen is the thing. Trying to get all these ads out of the way. That's the downside of having a free thing. Yeah, I should be able to do full screen. All right, now that should be working. So sound-wise, this might get a little weird, but I don't know. So the way this game works is you get short little segments of a song. So I think the first one's 1 second, then 2 seconds, 4, 8, until you get to 16. You're trying to guess it in as little time as possible. I've played this a couple times. It's a lot of fun. So we'll do a couple rounds of it. I will warn you, if it's somewhat newer, I'm probably not going to get it, right? That is whatever. I don't really know even how well I will do, but let's try this. Let's get into the first one. All right. So we got for sure Tribe Called Quest. So if you look here, I can just type in Tribe Called Quest. I get a whole bunch of lists of things. I need to think for a second, right? Because that's going to be. Does that check the rhyme? Yes. I will pause that. So that's kind of how the game goes. Obviously, I'm not going to get all of them on the 1 second thing. I'm going to try to do my best, but a lot of fun. Great album. I have that shoe. Oh, it's off camera, but it's over there. It's one of the first shoes I actually made. I think it was the second shoe I made, right? I think the first one I ever did was the De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising. And then I think the second one I made was Tribe Called Quest's Low End Theory, which is what this album is on, or what song this album is on. So, all right. So that was the first one. That kind of gives you a gist of how it is. We're going to go on. We're going to keep playing.
You having, girl?
Whew, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99. What the hell is the name of the song? 99 Problems. Submit. There we go. 2 for 2. Next. Oh my goodness. That is the Isaac Hayes, right? That is Shaft, right? Is that the Shaft theme song? It's gotta be. I have no idea who would have sampled this, so I'm just gonna type in Shaft. That is not how you spell Shaft. I have no idea. I'm assuming Isaac Hayes is not like on here. No, it is definitely not Mercy. Oh goodness. I don't love to skip here. I usually like to try and have at least a guess, but I've got nothing. The only thing I can hear right there is Isaac Hayes' Shaft theme song, which that isn't going to help me. So I'm gonna my first skip, and that's going to be the first one we don't get in 1 second, which kind of sucks. But oh well. It's just the Shaft theme song. Like who else used that? Shaft. There is nothing here, so who would have used that? Would Nas have used it? Lil Nas X. Oh my goodness, I would never get anything from Lil Nas X. I'm gonna have to hit another skip, but I don't think I'm gonna get this one. I don't have a guess. Oh man, I love me some Isaac Hayes. All right, he's one of those soul goats. It's a shame that I think his number one stream song of all time is, what's it called? Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls, right? Which is from South Park, because if you didn't know, Isaac Hayes plays Chef on South Park, and I'm fairly certain that is his number one stream song on Spotify, which is just a shame. But I'm gonna skip another one. I don't think this is gonna matter. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna matter at all. I'm trying to think of an artist who would have used this sample. I don't know why Busta Rhymes is coming to mind. It's not Breaking Neck. Not give me some more. Maybe I don't know. We'll just throw Touch It. I don't know. Yeah, nothing. Next. I might just skip out. I have no guess for this one. Young MC, Know How. Okay. I wouldn't have gotten that. I wouldn't have gotten anywhere close to that. The only, obviously, Young MC song I know is Bust a Move. Wow, that was rough. But that shows you right there that I obviously don't know everything. I don't know. When did that album come out? That's in the 80s, right? 86 is my guess. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not going to look it up. But okay, there we go. We're 2 for 3 now. That was a tough one. For me, at least. Record scratching. Okay. Whew. This could be a lot of things, right? It didn't really sound like anything Eric B. and Rakim to me. That almost sounded like a Beastie Boys scratch. Let me give it another play. You know what it almost also sounds like is Down with the King, which I don't think it is. It's not even an option. Run DMC's Down with the King. Damn. Okay, I guess that makes it narrows that. What do we got for Beastie Boys? Beastie Boys. Girls, Short Shot, Slow Ride, Future Loop, Harvest, Slow and Low, Brass Monkey. We'll just throw down Shake Your Rump. Nope. Ladies. Okay. I still feel like this is a Beastie Boys song. I don't know why. Slow Ride. I don't know. Let's throw one down. Yeah, nothing. Huh. Well, that little drum kick definitely sounded late 80s to me. Maybe early 90s. Hmm. I'm stuck between West. You know, I mean, it almost sounds like it could be like I could see Ice-T using that. I could see. And I'm have to play it again. That's late 80s, I think. I still think that's a Beastie Boys song, and I'm probably so wrong. So what you want? I don't think it's that, right? Yeah, no. Wow, I have no idea. We're gonna just, you know what? I think I'm taking too long on some of these. We're gonna skip out again. Oh my god, they knew I couldn't get Young MC and played another one. Oh my god. All right, well that's pretty fitting. I was right with the late '80s, right? God, it's kind of funny. So back to back Young MCs. I guess I got to listen to this album. That's all I got to say. Next. Oh no. Oh boy, so we got a song that has no. Yeah, it takes a second to get into. So. Oh man. Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay. These are the ones that obviously are dang near impossible. So let's throw in some Dr. Dre. I don't know. I forgot about Dre. It's definitely not going to be because that song starts right from the start, but it's just something to throw down. Huh. It's giving me third base vibes. I don't know if they're even on here. Yeah, I don't think they are. Super Bass by Nicki Minaj. That is definitely not. Now, this is going to be. My guess is this is 90s. I'll have to skip again. Oh my god, is this Mr. Dabalina? Oh my god, who sings that? I mean, I don't know how to spell it. Is the issue? Oh, here it is. Del the Funky Homo Sapien, please. Yes, yes. See, if you give me something, I guess I somewhat know. That's another good album, by the way. That I don't know the name of it, but another good album. Bunch of good songs. Del the Funky Homo Sapien was awesome. All right, we'll play a couple more. I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's gonna load though. Error loading. No. There we go. All right, next. Oh, come on. That's Outcast. Oh, man. So fresh and so clean. There we go. I used to. Yeah. Stankonia. I used to listen to that song in high school when I was on our basketball team and we'd have to like dress up for road games. And I would have on like, some probably the worst outfit humankind has ever seen, just complete garbage, or like a suit that just didn't fit or something like that. And on the bus I'd be playing this because I thought I was like the coolest guy in the world, like walking into the opposing gym to go up and score 4 points. Awesome. Good song. See, this is going to be a more recent song, isn't it? And it's oh my goodness, I honestly see this is where I'm like not lying, where I don't listen to anything that comes out past like 2010. So I have no idea if I'm gonna get. Is it highest in the room? This could get really bad. That's not even an option. Is that who it's by? A lot? I don't know. No. I'm not gonna get this. Just straight up. I'm just gonna skip out. I'm not gonna get it. Like I'm sorry. Yeah, I never listened to NBA YoungBoy. I would have never gotten that. So, next. I said, yeah. I don't know what this is going to be either. Skip. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna skip this one out again because this is not gonna be another one. Yeah, Foxy Brown. Sorry, Foxy. Didn't know it. We'll do a couple more. Dog, stop giving me things I've just never heard before. Like, again, that's another one I'm just never gonna get. Oh, whoops! I thought that was more. I thought that was more recent. Sorry, Heavy D. I wouldn't have gotten it, but I might have had a chance to think it was Heavy D and the Boys. I heard the first like drum kick and just assumed it was like 2013. What? Okay, I'll try and play this one out. See, like now that sounds more recent. Skip, get another second. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm skipping this one too. Limitless Linguistics. Never heard of them. Next. Come on. That is, of course. We're just talking about Doggy Style. Right? Oh, no. No, that's not Gin and Juice. Hold on. No, I thought that was. Oh, man, I gotta listen to it again. What? I don't even know what the song I thought it was. I'm trying to think of Gin and Juice. It's not, right? Because I don't think it's the right sound. No. God. Is it going to be Hits from a Bong? Is that by Cypress Hill? I don't know why I didn't put that first, because that was very clearly what the sound was. Ugh. All right. Well, in two. That one's going to hurt a little bit. Next. I don't know. Who does that even sound like? Is it like Missy Elliott? Get Your Freak On. That could be, no, okay. I still think it's Missy. I don't know. Sock It to Me? That's a fun name. No. Okay. Oh, that almost sounds like, hold on. The Rain, like, it. Oh my god! That's back to back now, where I just haven't gone with the obvious one. Oh my god. All right. Well, I'm glad I got it. We're gonna do a couple more because I'm having way too much fun with this. I'm really hoping this doesn't get taken down off YouTube because I know my intro doesn't work on YouTube. It's copyrighted, which again, I made that my junior year of college for a class, so I don't really know, the FCC laws and things like that. So hence why there was no intro or outro on the YouTube video if you watched there. I'm still gonna put it on, the audio version, so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, until I get told I have to take it down. So anyway, enough of that. Next. That's got to be a more recent, right? Because that's like that classic, like the synth of a, I don't know, like a drum machine synth. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't have a guess. Skip. Yeah, this is definitely more recent, right? Because that's that, like, trap, hi-hat. Not even hi-hat, like the just trap drum kick with that. I don't even know. Like Migos? I don't know. I don't listen to them. I spelled Migos wrong. Bad and Bougie? I don't think so. No. I'm not even gonna, like, I'm skipping through it. Oh my god, it was the Migos! I wouldn't have gotten the song, but I don't know. I'm a little bit surprising myself of how well I'm guessing these in a sense, but I don't know. We'll do a couple more. That is what is it? T-Rone? Is it T-Rone? Oops. Is that his name? Rock? Funky Cold Medina. I think that's what it's called. Tone Lock, right? Please be right. Oh, no. He has another... Wild Thing. I think it's this. Oh, my God. Is this not Tone Lock? Because this sounds like something he would have made. See, I've never heard of these other songs. Sheba Sheba, never heard it. This is frustrating because this is definitely going to be an earlier song. Young MC again? I don't know. My name is Young, sure. No. That is also funny. Young MC does not have... they don't have Bust a Move. This is like late 80s because of that echo. All right, well, what do we hear there? We heard some kind of horns, right? If we come back. I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is just going to be another one I have to... Oh my God. That is so frustrating. Okay, well, it was Tone Lock again. I got it going on. Golly, I'm like so close to so many of these. I just don't know the names of the songs. I know their styles, I guess. That's so annoying. All right, I want to try and get at least one more first try one. All right, next. It ain't gonna be here, I'll tell you that. I don't even know. This is gonna be no. I'm just skipping out. I've never heard this. Eminem's No Apologies. I'm sure if I listened to somebody, I would have got his voice. I want to get the name of the song, so I guess it doesn't matter. I'd never heard of that. Let's go to the next one. Oh, oh my God, this is one that I feel like I can get made fun of pretty hard, but I think this is Kanye. Flashing light. Not, is that it? By Kanye? Thank God I got that, because I feel like that one was a little too easy for people to... That one I think I would have got made fun of pretty hard. We're going to keep going a little bit. I know this episode is like dragging a bit, but I'm sorry. I'm having a lot of fun with this. What? I'm going to skip. What is this? I don't even know. There's no one. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar I wouldn't have gotten. Sorry if you're under the age of 25. All right, this is what we'll go one more that I have to get on the 1 second mark, and then I'll end it there. This is probably going to be something more recent. It's probably going to be like another Kendrick Lamar one, and I don't know. Like if I type in Kendrick Lamar, there is so many options, which is, I'm going to just skip through this one because I'm not going to get it. There's a woman, Saweetie. Don't know who that is. Next. That's not a Rick Ross cough, is it? I don't know. It was not the only Rick Ross option. Who is coughing like that? I've got no clue. I know that beat from somewhere. about some of my head. I ain't getting this one. Ah, tone lock again. Welcome back, bud. Come on, one more. Let's end it off with a Nate Dogg reference. How poetic is that? This is, of course, Area Codes. Featuring it. That could not have been any more perfect of a way to sign this off. Submit. Of course, it's correct. Wow. How perfect is that? That is awesome. That is a good way to end the clip there. So sorry that was a bit long. I just had a lot of fun doing that. I'll take the mic back. That's a good ending right there. That's a good way to kind of tie everything back together. Something that my my journalist ties go back to is taking one thing that makes can't get this going. I was always taught when you're writing a game story or a feature story, something like that, something that makes a story kind of more fun, kind of worth getting to the end, is whatever your lead is, whatever your like hook in the beginning is, just try and connect it back at the end. And that is probably the most poetic way I could accidentally do that. But anyway, this has been a much longer episode than I intended. I usually like to have a little more content, but I kind of just got lost playing this game, which I'm a little bit sorry about. But this is a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do it again at another point. Anyway, thank you so much. If you've gotten to this point, thank you so much for listening. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Again, this is still something I do for fun, and again, I have a lot of fun doing. So, yeah. Well, again, I forgot my outro again. That's not good. Well, wherever you're heading, wherever you're going, hope you have a beautiful day, beautiful night, and I will catch you all in the next episode.